So the reason why it took me a little while to do this video is because I was trying to figure out what I was gonna actually talk about. You know, I've had several people tell me, you know, I should do a video about Greensboro and the Triad area. If you know, those that don't know what the Triad area is or what it consists of, it consists of 3 cities, which is Greensboro, North Carolina, High Point, North Carolina, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. All 3 of those cities are the Triad area. They're in close proximity to one another, right? I've lived in Greensboro, stayed there for a couple of years. I've never lived in High Point. I went to Winston-Salem because at the time when I was living in Greensboro, I used to sell bootleg movies. So, you know, we hustled in Winston-Salem a couple times. Other than that, I've never actually, you know, like lived in Winston-Salem. Like I said, I just stayed in Greensboro. So let me first start off by telling you how I got there. I had a friend, right, that I went to high school with, and he wound up going to college to North Carolina A&T, which is located in Greensboro, North Carolina. I was hustling in Durham. I moved to Raleigh, and he was up there, so I connected with him. You know, one day I went out there, and I stayed with him for like about a week, you know, and I hit, you know, the urban areas to sell my bootleg movies and CDs. And I remember, I never forget it, this is what made me want to move to Greensboro. Now, taking heed, I'm coming, once I start from this point on, you have to understand one thing. I'm telling you through my lens, through my perspective as an African American man, a minor. So if I say something that you may not agree with, you know, it may be that you are from a different ethnic background, so you may not understand my perspective as an African American man living in Greensboro. So now that we got this out of the way, let's proceed with the story. So I get to the projects, I'm hustling, I'm not gonna lie, I was hustling off of Florida Street, some projects over there, right? Within a couple of hours, I made about $600. I said, oh yeah, this is my place. You know what I'm saying? So I had no plans. I had no moving company. I had no furniture. Actually, I was living with somebody else in Raleigh. I didn't go up there, you know, as a businessman, you know, like a professional businessman. I came up there as a street hustler. And the minute that I saw that I could make some money up there, that's what made me move. I didn't do any research. I didn't bother to do any of that stuff. I got up there, you know, so a week passes by. He told me, you know, you can stay a week, and I think he gave me a couple. No, excuse me. I wound up staying with his brother's girlfriend. I wound up staying over her house. Now, how that worked out, I don't know. I didn't touch it, but at the same time, it's like I'm kind of skeptical about you sleeping over my girlfriend's house. That's just, but it worked. So I wound up staying over her house for a couple days until I found an apartment, right? So I got to hook up with this broad that, you know, I did my little thing with her back in the days. She knew somebody that had these apartments, that was managing these apartments, and that, you know, I could get in, you know, through there, because I had no credit, but I didn't have good credit, I didn't have bad credit, I had no credit. So wound up getting an apartment there, and I wind up setting up a table at this Chinese food restaurant. I think it's off of East Cone Boulevard. It's like a strip mall where they got barbershops, a barbershop, a rent-a-center. It's not black owned, but that's where the majority of black people shop at. It's got Kroger's or Piggly Wiggly, some type of grocery store over there. I can't remember. It hasn't, you know, it's been quite some time since I've lived in Greensboro. So, you know, I wound up meeting this girl from New York, and we wound up getting together. And at first, I was gonna leave the first year I stayed there, but she convinced me to stay. So basically, I stayed because of her, and I wound up living there for 4 years. Greensboro is if you ever been to Raleigh and Durham, it's right dead in the middle. It's not Raleigh and it's not Durham. It's rugged like Durham, but it's not like Durham. It's kind of somewhat city-like somewhat city-like Raleigh, but then again, it's not Raleigh. You know, it's a town. I mean, not a town. You know, roughly they have about 300,000 people there. I mean, in the Triad, you know, Triad area, it's probably a little over 500. Excuse me, a little over 500,000 people there. Probably roughly about 600,000 to about 600,000. Right? So it's not a large population of people there. So it's a city, Greensboro that is, where you can be on one side, and I've had this happen to me a few times. You could be on one side of town, right? And see somebody, go over to the other side of town and see that same person that you saw on the side that you originally were at, side of town that you were originally at. That's pretty much how small it is. You know, it's really, to me, in my opinion, coming from an African American perspective, it's a college town. So when the colleges leave, you know, when it's time for spring break and, you know, and summer break and all of that, when that happens and all the students leave, it's kind of dead. It's kind of dead. So the big colleges are, of course, North Carolina A&T, which is HBCU, UNCG, University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and then you have an all-girls college called Bennett College, and then you have Greensboro College too. So there's like roughly 4 colleges that's there. You know, I think good, 1, 2, and then they have a technical college as well. You know what I'm saying? 2-year college, community college. I think it's called Guilford Community College, if I'm not mistaken. It's really, to me, in my, you know, looking through my lens, it's really a college city. You know, they did have at one time, and I think they lost that bid. They might have got it back, but it doesn't make a difference because this COVID-19 thing happened. They did host like the, not the Final Four, but like the Sweet 16 or something like that in Greensboro Coliseum. Greensboro is known for having a bunch of celebrities, you know, a bunch of rappers and singers come to Greensboro Coliseum because the Coliseum is pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? So if you lived in Durham, if you lived in Raleigh, or if you lived in Charlotte, or you lived in, like, well, not so much Charlotte, but if you lived in like other places, you know, like the outside of Charlotte, but like Greensboro, Raleigh, Durham, Winston-Salem, High Point, you know, Chapel Hill, all those places, you know, when, like, say for example, Lil Wayne came to Greensboro, you would actually drive from Raleigh or Durham and to the Coliseum, because that's just how, you know, they have a pretty decent Coliseum, and they host a lot of things in that Coliseum. They have a mall, you know, the mall is pretty decent, so people, that's another attraction. I forgot the name of the mall, but they have a mall, and that's an attraction. People come from out of town to go to the mall. They have the Wet and Wild Park, you know, it's a water park. You know, I've been several times and it's crazy. This is crazy, but people that live in Greensboro will admit that. Most people that live in Greensboro don't ever go to the park. Like, I never went to the park when I was in Greensboro. But the moment I left, I moved out of Greensboro, I went twice. So they have the Wet and Wild. The downtown is not big. You know, it's bigger than Durham's downtown. It's not as big as Raleigh's downtown, and it's nowhere near the size of, you know, Charlotte's uptown. But they do have little festivals that they host there. They have this park that's like, I kind of like dead in the, not so much in the middle, but it's a new park that they built, little water things spitting out of the ground. They also have the minor league baseball team that's there. It's a brand new stadium that's like, it sits like in the downtown area. They also have Celebration Station, you know, where you could drive little motor cars and, you know, play video games and stuff like that. Job wise, they right now, the what's so funny, Forbes has them as like number 5, like Greensboro and Winston-Salem, you know, as far as jobs. I don't know what specific jobs that they're referring to, but If Forbes is saying that they're Greensboro and Winston-Salem is leading the list when it comes to jobs, then I guess they have jobs there. The cost of living is pretty cheap. I mean, you can get more bang for your buck in Greensboro. Now let's talk like real deal. Real deal is it a city that I recommend for African American men or African American women, or rather should I say minority? I'll say that. I would say no, because Greensboro is it comes off as a hippie city, but the police force there is racist. Let me tell you something. Let me explain this to you. This is no coincidence. No coincidence. So I was living in Charlotte, right? This is when I first moved to Charlotte, right? I didn't have a license. I lost my license, you know what I'm saying? From just being stupid. Got a ticket, didn't pay for it, got pulled over, got another ticket with driving license suspended, didn't go to court. So when I first got to Charlotte, you know, the mother of my children was like, yo man, listen, we gotta get your license straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, in the South, you have to have a car, even in Charlotte, because the light rail is just what it is. It's a light rail. It just goes like in two directions. That's it. It goes all the way down to South Charlotte and it goes all the way up to University area, like around 485, Highway 485, and that's it. A straight line, straight across Charlotte, and that's it. It doesn't go left, right, up and down, none of that. So, you need a car. We, decided, okay, let's work on my license, right? I had a ticket in Greensboro because I got pulled over in Greensboro. We went down there to pay it. Pay for the ticket, right? I said, yo, listen, we gonna go to the court. I'm gonna pay this and I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't want to be here but for 10 minutes, right? Because I know how Greensboro gets down. We go to court, pay the ticket, I get in the car, we drive off. She's driving, I'm not driving. Well, I get pulled over right by the Coliseum, right? Excuse me, we get pulled over right by the Coliseum. Lady comes up, cop, she was riding us the whole time. She says, something about the taxes or something that we didn't pay it or something like that, and it was just a whole big mix up. And she was like, "I'm gonna give you a warning for now." It wasn't even a big issue, and we solved the problem. But just think about. That's no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. We were there nothing but 10 minutes and got pulled over by the cops. I could tell you some horror stories about Greensboro. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got pistol whipped at. I could just give you a couple of things that'll just make you say, you know what? Let me scratch Greensboro off the list. I could tell you. Let me tell you this. I don't want to name them, by names. One of them is in my stories that I have on this channel called Pretty Ricky. I met Pretty Ricky there. Met my ex-girlfriend there. I met who else? Pretty Ricky's my ex-girlfriend. My man that I was telling you that got shot in the head, that's from Brooklyn. Or who else? And it was one other person. And my friend from school, his brother, we got real tight. So it was about, and there was another dude, I forgot his name. I just call him Sal, right? It was about 6 of us, right? 6 people I knew in Greensboro, right? Ask me how many people are still living there that I knew. 1 out of 6. Everybody got the hell out of Dodge. Everybody. So I'm not trying to be funny when I do these videos, and I know, some of y'all live in Durham, some of y'all live in Raleigh, some of y'all live in Charlotte, some of y'all live in Greensboro, some of y'all live in Winston-Salem, but I have to give you my truth. My truth may not be just like yours. You might have had a good time in Greensboro. You might love it in Greensboro. I'm just telling you my perspective when I came, my experiences, my years that I lived in, and I live in hell. It was torture. So would I recommend the Triad area to anyone? No. Sorry, unless you're going to college. It's good to go to college, graduate, leave. Other than that, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely share this video. My name is Langston 2092. I'm out.